Oh, you're going to have a lot of fun watching television tomorrow. Somebody said yesterday, sir, don't sign so many in one day. Let's do it over a period of weeks. I said, like hell, we're going to do it over weeks. We're going to sign them at the
He
beginning.
means business. Look at him.
You know that old story. Let's do it later. Then it never gets done. No, we're doing them tomorrow. And we'll have plenty to sign in the future. Don't worry about it. It's not going to stop.
What are those executive orders that Trump is supposedly going to sign on day one, which is over 200 of them, possibly? We'll go through them in just a bit. It's Sean Daniel here. If you enjoy the videos, consider subscribing or supporting me with a YouTube membership down below. Let's hear what Trump says about what he's going to do about January 6ers, and then we'll get into some more.
And tomorrow, everybody in this very large arena will be very happy with my decision on the J6 hostages. Very happy. I think you'll be very, very happy. I would say about 99.9% in this beautiful arena.
So we don't know exactly what he's going to do, but something big. Who knows if he's going to be releasing everybody. What else is he going to do about these classification files, which he's been teasing before?
As a first step toward restoring transparency and accountability to government, we will also reverse the overclassification of government documents, and in the coming days, we are going to make public remaining records relating to the assassinations of President John F. Kennedy, his brother Robert Kennedy, as well as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and other topics of great public interest. It's all going to be released, Uncle Sam.
He ain't messing around. You know how many attacks he's probably going to receive because of possibly the coordinated efforts that caused such assassinations? We're either going to learn that there was a big government scheme that caused these things, or there really wasn't, and the overclassification of it was ridiculous and was not needed. I can't believe he's willing to do that because of what so many of us think is that there's some government parties involved in such actions that took place. Now, here's some of his executive orders before we get to how the liberal media, especially CNN, is not happy that Trump is taking a stand and not messing around, not putting stuff off till later, going to reverse so many Biden things, especially at the border. They are not happy and coming up with ridiculous twists of logic to find why it's bad, all the things he's trying to do. What are the things he's trying to do? Well, he wants to declare emergency at the border and issue proclamation closing the border, designate cartels as foreign terrorist organizations, which then I believe gives them more authority with which to go after them with different departments in the government, remain in Mexico, catch and release will be reinstated, the military will be directed to construct new phase of border wall, it'll terminate Biden orders on energy drilling restrictions, return federal workers to in-person work, because there's been so many that have not been going to offices, pause all offshore wind leases, end DEI hiring practices in the federal government, making it only based on merit, supposedly, withdraw from the Paris Climate Accord, order every agency to remove all federal actions increasing costs for Americans via deregulation, suspend security clearances for the 51 officials who lied about the Hunter Biden 2020 laptop story, and establish a DOJ hiring freeze. Now, how is CNN taking this? Because especially his policies at the border and with immigration, not well. Thankfully, we got our buddy Scott Jennings here who takes a stand.
What individuals are you rounding up that have not committed a crime?
Anybody who came here illegally, by definition, is a criminal. They did break our laws. Doesn't mean they're violent, but it does mean they're a criminal. B, you cannot let the perfect be the enemy of the good here. And the good is doing what I think 88% of people in the New York Times poll said they wanted, which was mass deportations of illegal alien criminals out of this country. It's not really controversial what they're proposing to do. It's got widespread bipartisan support. When you start trying to pick out individual situations, what about this, what about this? What Homan has said, and what I think is true, is you're just sending a signal that, well, we're going to continue to allow some of it. some of it's going to be okay. And what he has said and what he campaigned on is that none of it is okay. That we're going to have a legal immigration system, that we're going to know who's coming here. We're going to know why they're coming here. We're not going to continue to send a signal to the world, just get here and we'll figure it out and you'll probably be fine. That's why we're in the mess we're in right now. That's why millions of people came here over the last 4 years, and it ends beginning tomorrow. And I will tell you, if these blue cities in blue states and some of these local Democrats try to interfere, stop it, not cooperate, I think their citizens, their constituents are going to punish them politically, because people who live in these cities are being hit the hardest. New York, Chicago, they want a solution.
When you're talking about the supply chains that are no longer running as smoothly, when you're talking about individuals who do those menial jobs that no one else wants to do.
Is the American economy completely and totally underpinned by murderers and rapists? That is just, they're going after the violent population. They're going after the people who have existing deportation orders. And I don't remember any breakdown in American supply chains under President Obama, who correctly deported millions of people. We've done this before.
Scott, I call BS, because we just started this conversation by saying that everyone agrees that you should deport those individuals.
I know, and now you're saying the fruit's going to rot.
That's not what. But
Scott,
let's have a little bit of political deftness here for the audience and not be that intellectually dishonest, because I'm not talking about those people.
We won and you lost, and we're going to do it.
I'm not talking about those people. So yeah, I mean, deport all these brown people you want, but at the end of the day, this is going to have a tangible effect.
What reduce this to a racial conversation is, you want to talk about being dishonest? It has everything to do with breaking laws or not breaking laws.
Right.
And are you going to have a chief executive who enforces the law or who doesn't? We haven't had one who wants to enforce the law, and now we do, and that's what people voted for. How many people came into this country over the last 4 years? Millions upon millions. We are different today than we were 4 years ago, 10 years ago, 20. We have never faced a crisis like this, and it's not just people coming here, it's what happens when they get here. We have illegal immigrants in this country who have committed heinous, violent crimes. That's why the Congress is passing the Laken Riley Act. These are terrible stories, and are we going to allow it?
There's no question.
Democrats are not contesting that.
You keep so
they contested it for the entire election. They claimed they claimed the border was fine.
The irony, we can't recognize that. If we can't have a humane system to recognize that, then fundamentally we're going to have a problem.
Come here legally, and you'll be fine. Come here illegally, and you won't be. And that has to be the message. The message of the Democratic Party for the last 4 years was just come here and do whatever you want. And that ends Monday. And if you look at the New York Times poll from this weekend, this is not controversial. This is supported by Democrats, Republicans. People want action. And I think what you're going to see with the executive orders tomorrow is Trump not saying, well, we're going to get to it later. We're going to say, no, we start today. That's what's happening.
That's right. Scott don't mess around. And you see how the black guy immediately tries to make it about race. Oh, deport all these brown people. That's going to be the continued logic push. We're going to see another clip in a second about deporting these racial people, these people of lower class races, minorities, deporting them because you think you're better than them, and that their effort in the workplace and in the economy, well, when you displace that effort and you get them out of here, oh my God, it's going to affect the government so much, the economy so much. You're going to see that twisted logic pattern continually over and over, and we're going to see it in the next clip.
This is what Trump ran on. He ran on scared politics. I think it's important to center this conversation to talk about immigration some, and that the last full month of the Biden administration here in December was the lowest crossing at the border since 2020 when Donald Trump was president. Do I agree that...
Why is that? If that's even true, why would that be the case? Well, because nobody wants to come across the border because they know deportations are coming. That's why. I usually don't interrupt the mid-clip, but that's an important thing. See how they do twisted logic?
There's bad people here that have committed major crimes. They should be kicked out of this country. Absolutely. But 68% of all the Latinos in America know somebody that's undocumented. And for all you folks at home, that's the folks who's picking your salad and milking your cows. On CNN tonight, in South Dakota, our farmer came on this show and talked about how he had voted for Donald Trump and didn't really think Donald Trump was going to deport the men and women who are milking his cows. Milk's finna go up. Buckle up.
Well, I want to, you made a point here about criminals, because I think they've been pretty clear for logistical reasons that they are going to start with let's figuratively speaking, the lowest hanging fruit, the easiest thing for them to accomplish. Are you, Keith, concerned about a plan that involves rounding up people who are already adjudicated as criminals? Maybe they have deportation orders, maybe they have final orders of deportation, and saying we're finally going to get you and deport you as a court has adjudicated?
Well, the devil's in the detail, and I don't really know where the details are. It seems like there's a lot of puff right now and a lot of scare tactics. They want people to be afraid about this. I just don't understand how they have the infrastructure to be able to pull this off on Tuesday. I mean, Tom Homan himself was saying we need 100,000 detention beds in order to be able to do this. We have like 20,000 or 40,000 or something like that. You're talking about doubling the number of detention beds in order to be able to keep these people in some sort of space before you can deport them. How are they going to possibly do this? So I think a lot of what is going on right now is they want people to be scared so that Trump can come in and pretend like he's doing something. We're going to have a lot of executive orders signed in the next few days, and we're going to think there's something happening, but I don't really think he's going to be able to do as much as he wants to do. But it will be dangerous, but not as quickly as he wants it to be.
So they don't have any positives to say about the idea of deporting people who have committed crimes in addition to the crime they committed crossing the border. Another piece of thing to pay attention to, as I've touched on before with some guys that you see on TV, when they are willing to represent themselves inside a studio dressed terribly, not looking neat like this guy, with a jean shirt on and those horrendous glasses, or secondly, wearing a cowboy hat inside a studio to show that you're so in tune with the Latinos, that tells you a lot about a person. So be on guard for that. You can see who takes himself seriously, who represents themselves in a professional manner, and then you can start seeing if you should listen to what they're saying, because how someone is willing to represent themselves on a major news organization TV show tells you a lot about them. I'm not going to bore you guys with more CNN stuff. It's Sean Daniel here. If you enjoyed the video, consider subscribing. There'll be some more videos right here. I'll see you in the next one.